Halloween Horror Nights is one of the greatest Halloween events in the United States, and possibly the entire world. But what do you do when you're too tired to be scared, or you just get so badly scared like this?
Oh, shoot! Yo, he just got me good, dang.
That's exactly when you want to go right back to those scare zones and jump right in. No, I'm just kidding, you should probably go to the tribute store. But before we head into the tribute store, a word from our sponsors. Hey buddy, you spilled your coffee. Look, and you spilled your milkshake. Hello and welcome to Universal Orlando. I am currently standing in front of the 2023 Halloween Horror Nights Tribute Store. This year, we are being taken back to the golden age of comics because as we enter through the doors of this year's tribute store, we will be entering the Tribute to Terror comic book series. So let's not waste any more time and let's go right into this year's 2023 Halloween Horror Nights Tribute Store. But first, we have to check out the window display because not only are there Easter eggs for Halloween Horror Nights of the past and current, but there's also Easter eggs for other events such as Mardi Gras and Christmas. So let's take a look at some of the many Easter eggs throughout this year's tribute store. Let's get started. Many Easter eggs throughout here on all the magazine and comic book covers. So some of the main Easter eggs I've noticed about this year's tribute store is the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt, which was kind of a semi-icon in the early days of Halloween Horror Nights because he did many of the old Halloween Horror Nights commercials on television. So as you can see, there is another Crypt Keeper doll right back here. He's called the Curator, but I call him the Crypt Keeper. I don't know the official name of this character. Let me know in the comments if you guys know the official name of this character. As you can see, Frankenstein over here, a Mask of the Mummy, which was actually in the tribute store last year. So Universal Monsters, which is actually housed this year, of course. There's a vinyl back here with classic Halloween jams on it. Let me know in the comments if you recognized what vinyl or what songs are on this vinyl. Down here, this right here is I believe it looks like a assembly kit for a glow-in-the-dark little model, and this is the old facade for one of the tribute stores, and it looked like a cat's face, kind of like a old Halloween decoration, and you walk through the front doors. This is an actual picture of the tribute store from back then, so that's pretty cool that it's an old tribute store. And right down here we have a Monsters comic book with Godzilla, which I had no idea Universal even owned the rights to Godzilla. I guess they don't use the word Godzilla, it says Japanese monsters, so I guess they don't really own the rights to Godzilla. I don't know, let me know in the comments, do they own the rights to Godzilla? Because that's him on the front of the comic book. And also, as I said, the Halloween masks have been in the tribute store before. This is a very classic Halloween poster. It looks like last year's tribute store, so this is like a little throwback to last year's tribute store right here. And look at that board game. I guess it's not a board game, it's like a game with this Frankenstein right up here. Was this a real thing back in the day? I know that they had like a remake version of this. You take apart Frankenstein's head, but was this a real thing? Is this an actual game back in the day? We are open every day, so until Halloween Horror Nights is over, they're open during the day. We have more Tribute to Terror comic books right through here, and of course you have the Crypt Keeper right back here because he's like a semi-icon. But do you spot the two Easter eggs for Christmas and Mardi Gras? Well, of course this comic book right here says Mardi Gras, but here is the Holiday Tribute Store, which is Earl the Squirrel for the Christmas time, which is actually not too far away. Another Earl the Squirrel mixed with Halloween, so it's like kind of Halloween and Christmas combined. That's pretty interesting. I've never seen that before. You have some more Universal Monsters comic books, some more classic Halloween comic books. Down here, this evidence of the contrary, this is from Case Files. They've been hinting a lot about Case Files the past couple of years. It looks like most of these reference other Halloween Horror Nights houses from the past. And over here you have a really fun looking board game, which I have never seen before. And then down here you have King Kong, another classic Universal monster. There we go. Terrible Totems. That's what this comic book right here, Terrible Totems. This is Case of the Terrible Totems, which is from the Case Files house right here. Wow. Also the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Very fun. I cannot wait any longer. We must go inside. As you step inside, you're stepping inside a classic comic book store from the golden age of comics, and there are so many more references. Spooky Earl the Squirrel right up here, Christmas and Halloween combined. Over here you have more Universal monsters. King Kong little statue up here. You have the Phantom of the Opera, which is one of the monsters in this year's Monster House. You are greeted by the Crypt Keeper. As soon as you walk in, the curator or the Crypt Keeper, I don't know what to call him, but we are about to step into the front issue of the Tribute to Terror. Look, it's Jack in the Tribute Store. A mask of Jack, a mask of the Mummy. That I don't know what these other masks are. Do you guys recognize these other masks? That one right there looks so familiar. Is that the Phantom of the Opera? No, I can't really tell. That might be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's hard to tell. And all of the Tribute to Terror comic books with so many Easter eggs from old Halloween Horror Nights houses, especially right here. Little B-side adventure extraordinaire. That is from the Bug House last year. Very fun. As we enter the first room, you are immediately greeted by the Crypt Keeper or the Curator. Right here, it looks like we are entering the Hollow Hills Cemetery. It looks like we just stepped right into the Tribute to Terror comic book, and it is very evident that this is a comic book by all the beautiful drawings in here. This looks so spooky and fun, very cool, very nostalgic if you grew up reading comic books or different spooky stories with illustrations. Very cool. Obviously, we have the new merchandise here, and we will dive a little deeper into that in just one second. But let's look at some of these wonderful details inside the Tribute store. We have more beautiful illustrations as though we're in the Tribute to Terror comic book, because that's the entire theme of this year's Tribute store, if you haven't caught on. And there are so many fun decorations. Look, a nice, beautiful little Boo backpack. That looks like it's probably going to be pretty expensive, and I've heard that there's controversy surrounding these chains right here. Apparently, somebody got stopped at security. It was a whole big thing. You could probably look it up online. It looks like everything is a-okay as of now. We have more little Boo merchandise down here. A little Boo planter. This planter, $27. I believe this is a little Boo hat right down here. This thing has been seen all over Halloween Horror Nights. It seems like everyone has this hat, and the price for this hat is $28 right there. Of course, if you are an AP or a team member, you do get a discount. I really like this vintage looking artwork, like as though you're walking through an old comic book, and in this case, it is the Tribute to Terror comic book, and this artwork is incredible. It looks so beautiful. This artwork is everywhere, as well as these 3D models, these 3D ginormous skeletons right here. These props look so good. Nice photo opportunities in this year's Tribute store. Every Tribute store seems to get more photogenic each year. Look at this artwork. I have the feeling as though we just stepped right into an old comic book from the golden age of comics. Very cool. Look at these props. This section of the Tribute store is my all-time favorite because it is themed after Case Files. Right here you have the Crypt Keeper, or what I believe is called the Curator, and he is greeting you to the next part of the Tribute store as though it is a new comic book. And this comic book is based on the Case Files house, which was one of my ultimate favorite houses of Halloween Horror Nights. And this window that you see right here can actually be seen in one of the real windows in Universal Orlando, and it's been there, I believe, since opening day in the New York section of the park. I might have to do an entire video about that one of these days. I believe that this creature right here was one of the monsters inside the house, inside the Case Files house. Wow, look at that effect. I did not see that last time I was here. It looks like a train is passing by the windows. And you have this spooky alleyway. Very fun. And of course you have a fire hydrant and a trash can right here. As we enter the next room, we are going to be walking throughout the Case Files comic book. This is all related to the Case Files. It's Schuster Brothers Private Investigations, which is straight out of the Case Files house from, I believe, 2021. I think that's when the Case Files house happened. And there are so many details inside this year's tribute store. I mean, just look at these comic books. You could spend so many hours just reading every single detail in here. And I feel like one of these days, I definitely will have to before the season's over. This looks so good. Case Files was definitely one of my favorite houses. Look at this door. This is the front door to the Schuster Brothers Private Investigators. I'm telling you, there is an endless amount of comic books that you could read in here, or comic book panels that you can read. And some of these are ginormous. I mean, here's the monster from Case Files, and he looks like he has much more character in this comic book than he did in the actual house. And here you have a very cool prop over here. This is like a locker for the detectives, and that is the monster's head from Case Files. Very fun, very cool effect. This is a great photo opportunity right here. Here he is again, the monster. But it looks like this is an artifact of some sort that somebody's holding in the comic book. You have this comic book panel, and it looks like it was an artifact found inside this locker. It looks like a clue, and you could spend all day researching the lore of the Case Files house just by looking at all these comic book panels throughout here. There's so much information about this Case Files house inside this year's tribute store. And over here, we have a massive comic book panel for a beautiful photo opportunity. And this is a very fun Easter egg. Do you guys recognize the sign right here? I sure do. It's one of my favorite bars inside Universal Orlando, which is Finnegan's Bar and Grill. It's the Irish pub in the New York section of the park. It's right across the street from the Mummy attraction. This is such a cool Easter egg. Here we have the silhouette of the main detective in the Case Files house, and it looks like he's about to fight one of the greatest monstrous foes of his entire career, which is the monster, the huge monster that was inside the Case Files house. This looks incredible. Look how spooky this is. Wow, I love the glowing red eyes. It's the only thing in this room, out of all the comic book props in this room, it's the only thing that's not in black and white, is the monster's eyes. The Crypt Keeper down a spooky alleyway right outside of the Private Investigations house, and you could see the eyes behind him inside the alleyway. And this looks like a scene right out of the Case Files house. The Studio Screamer merchandise is right here. Of course, you have the t-shirt with this year's icons. These are the Studio Screamer figures for this year. Of course, you have the Mummy, Dracula, Invisible Man. This is the Usher. That is an old Halloween Horror Nights icon, the Usher. This is Little Boo, iconic Little Boo, and that is Tiffany, which is Chucky's wife. We have gotten to the food court section of the tribute store. This is the start of the food in the tribute store, so let's take a gander at the foods in this little window. Yummy, those desserts look delicious. Look, a Little Boo cookie, and there's a cauldron with Eddie on top, and a Hellfire cupcake? That looks so good. Wow, look at these Chucky heads. Wow, that is so creepy. You have the Chucky heads, the good guy merchandise. That's a Chucky popcorn bucket. That's pretty cool. And of course, you could get your very own good guy doll. Oh, it looks like somebody left a jukebox on. Huh, they're listening to the oldies. Oh, maybe it was this guy over here. Whoa, hey buddy, you spilled your coffee. Look, and you spilled your milkshake. Where'd your friend go? Is that your buddy's milkshake or is that yours? I mean, you don't look so good. Hey, buddy, I'm talking to you. Hey, pal. Hey, wake up. Hey, wake up. Hey, I'm talking to you. I don't think he's responding. It's time to pay up. Jim's Diner. Is that the devil himself working at Jim's Diner? He does not. Or is that Jim? Jim, is that you? It kind of looks like Jim, but Jim, you're not looking so good today, and your customers are really looking under the weather, and he spilt his milkshake, and you don't seem to care about that, Jim. What do you got to say for yourself? As we enter the last room of the tribute store, you can see more props that look like the classic Tribute to Terror comic books, and more of the story unfolds as you read the signs throughout here, and you can start to notice some more familiar merchandise throughout here, like Dr. Oddfellow and his Traveling Oddities t-shirt for 2023. And look, Halloween storybook? That is so funny. I've never seen that before. That is so cool. Oh, you never know who lurks in the dark here at the Tribute to Terror tribute store. Look at this guy. I love his eyes. Here we have some more Hellfire merchandise. Of course, you got the classic Hellfire t-shirt down here and this year's jacket. I never showed you the back of this jacket, so let me show you right now. Very fun jacket with the almost identical to Eddie's jacket inside the show, so it's kind of hard to see in here, but almost identical to Eddie's jacket inside the show, except for it says Stranger Things right there on the hood. Let's see the price of this jacket right down here. Ooh, $90, a little expensive, but it is a very iconic hoodie. I absolutely love this backpack. Let's see the price of this backpack right here, the bad boy. $65. The backpack is cheaper than the jacket. Wow, I would have never guessed that the backpack was cheaper than the jacket. And of course, in this final room right here, this is where you can check out with any merchandise items that you wish to purchase. And there's one more scene here at the very end of the tribute store. Actually, there's technically a bonus scene after this one, but this is a very good photo opportunity right through here. I don't know which character this is supposed to be, but it is a very good photo opportunity right here, and more of the story right down here. So if you've been following along the story, you might know who this character is, but I do like the ambiance with the full moon behind him. Looks like a werewolf. Oh, there's the character in cartoon form, so it looks like this room is themed after this character. Here we have the bonus room of the tribute store, the very ending. Obviously, you can do the coin push machine right here, but here's the newsstand with more Tribute to Terror comic books, and the curator is inside, looking very cool indeed. This looks exactly like an old New York newsstand. They still have these newsstands in New York, but this one looks like a special Tribute to Terror comic book newsstand, and he's got a mug over here that has some dirt and blood on it that looks like it says "I love New York." And there he is, the curator himself. I apologize I called him the Crypt Keeper because I legit thought that was his name, but apparently it's the curator, so I apologize for that. But look, he's selling some gross looking snacks over here as well. That was the tribute store for 2023 Halloween Horror Nights. I hope you enjoyed that. So much merchandise that I didn't even get a chance to cover. I hope you enjoyed kind of the overall theming. If that being said, and you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up so I can continue to grow my channel and I can continue to make Halloween Horror Nights content and much more. I do all sorts of stuff, so if you enjoy watching this video, leave me a thumbs up. And not only that, you can also subscribe down below, because subscribing will also help this channel grow and it will help me tremendously, and your support I really appreciate. So thank you very much indeed for watching today's video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the fog and check out the tribute store. Have a wonderful day. Peace.